State your name for the camera.
Vincent Charles Schiavetti.
How did you choose your victims?
Well, I would play various card games on the internet during my spare time. Whether it was poker, euchre, spades, pinochle, hearts, whatever. I played them all, and eventually events would come up where an argument would start about the playing of the game. Sometimes it would be my partner in the game, sometimes it would be another player at the table. They would go on a tirade, and I would let them. I would sit by, and I would let them dig their own grave. Then I would give them the opportunity to apologize for their actions. If they did, they were spared, and I would look for my next one. If they didn't apologize, they became my next target. It's as simple as that. It wasn't that hard to find mouthy punks playing card games on the internet.
How were you able to find these people when the only knowledge you had of them was their online screen name?
Actually, it's even easier than you think. Some of these idiots gave their names in the screen name, which was a slam dunk for me. Some had their info and their profile on the game server. Those were the easy ones to find. Some others took a little more work, but it was still pretty easy. I would acquire their screen names, then submit a request to Yahoo for the IP address of that user. After they gave me the IP address, I would then perform the same task on their ISP, whether it be Verizon, Time Warner, Comcast, etc. They would supply me with the address of the router. I'll then go to the address, bring my laptop and my wireless card, and stake it out for a few days. I'd watch their user activity to make sure that I was getting the correct person at the house. Once I got the address though, it was very easy to figure out who the online player was and take care of them.
Why did you do it?
I love playing cards, but I played for fun and to have a good time. But the more I played, the more often I kept running into these internet tough guys who thought that they knew everything and felt they could say whatever they want and get away with it because they were safe at home in front of their computers. Now they'll think twice. I'm doing society a favor.
Do you think murder is the best way to solve this problem?
Absolutely. You see, when I get out of here, they will know I'm out there, and they will fear me. They'll have to account for their actions if they want to be an internet tough guy. The fact is, most of these people wouldn't act this way to someone's face. But because of the privacy of the internet, they think they can get away with it. But I'm tearing down that barrier and showing them that they should be careful how they treat others.
Wait a minute, you said when you get out?
That's right. You see, they got lucky catching me. They only caught me because I wanted to get caught. But that won't happen again when I get out of here. I will escape, and I will kill again.
Welcome back to American Justice. My next guest has been a detective with the FBI for nearly 30 years. He has worked on many high-profile serial killer cases, including the Green River Killer case, which was finally closed in 2001. Most recently, he is the lead detective on the infamous Vincent Chiavetti case, which was reopened in November of 2006 after Vincent Chiavetti escaped from prison with the help of his accomplice, Sid Wright. Detective Stukalowski, you're the lead detective on this case. Would you like to take it from here?
Sure. Well, it all started back in March of 2006 when Vincent Chiavetti was captured after a routine traffic stop. His taillight was out, and the officer was just about ready to let him go when he noticed there was blood on the back of his trunk of his car. Vincent Chiavetti was then taken into custody and was eventually discovered that the blood in the back of the trunk of his car was that of Chris Pulaski.
Why was he so hard to be captured in the first place?
First of all, we never found the bodies until he told us where to find them. We didn't even know there was a serial killer out there. They appeared to be all separate cases of missing persons. He also used different methods of killing his victims, so we were never able to connect any of the victims to a serial killer. We never knew the motive of any of the killings until he confessed to the 16 other murders, including Chris Pulaski. Lastly, and maybe most importantly, the internet was a huge aid to him. It is not as safe as people think it is.
The internet? Really?
Yes. The internet is full of information that can be had at any moment if you know how to get at it. There are so many websites out there that give away pertinent information without people's consent that can be used against them. And Vincent Chiavetti knew how easy it was to get this information, and he used it to do his damage. I believe it was the main reason Vincent Chiavetti was able to commit these murders so inconspicuously.
He was one of the most famous serial killers of our time, and yet he managed to escape from prison. How is that possible?
He had an accomplice. Sid Wright was the man who conducted the interview just prior to his escape. We soon learned that Mr. Chiavetti and Mr. Wright had been planning this escapade for many years. Sid Wright was a well-known reporter, so there was no reason for anyone to suspect he was Vincent Chiavetti's partner in crime.
So Vincent Chiavetti was telling the truth when he said the only reason he was caught was because he wanted to be caught?
I believe so.
It's been 5 years since Chiavetti and Wright have been on the run. Why haven't they been caught yet?
For one, they move around a lot. But also, I believe they drastically change their appearances, whether through disguises or plastic surgery. Personally, I think they wear disguises all the time to hide their appearance because they are two of the most wanted fugitives in the country. It is impossible for them to go unnoticed.
That can't be the only reason, is it?
No, absolutely not. The reason why they're still at large right now, it's too hard to track their new motive.
New motive? So they're not targeting internet card players anymore?
No, they are not. I think people are legitimately scared of Chiavetti and Wright, and it is not easy to find new victims through that motive. So they have moved on to a different agenda. Road ragers.
You know this for a fact?
Yes.
And how do you know that?
They just recently sent us a manifesto outlining the reasoning for the change in their motive. They are now responsible for 27 new murders.
My goodness, are there any leads to their whereabouts?
Very little. We're going to need everyone's help on this one. We cannot catch them alone.
Chiavetti and Wright have been gone uncaptured for 5 years. Do you ever think you'll catch them?
I just don't know.